You don't get allocated a Rolex because you love Rolex. You get allocated because you're useful to the dealer's business. That's the part nobody says clearly. Most buyers walk into an authorized dealer believing one thing: if I show passion, if I buy Rolex consistently, if I'm patient, eventually I'll be rewarded. That sounds logical. It's also incomplete, because allocation isn't a reward system. It's a leverage system. And if you think it's about loyalty, you're already misreading the board. When a high-demand Rolex arrives, the question isn't who deserves it. It isn't who's next in line. It's something else entirely. It's this: where does this piece create the most impact for the business? Not for your ego, for the business. Rolex pieces are scarce, they're controlled, and they carry guaranteed demand. They don't need help selling themselves. So if Rolex is already going to sell, why would allocation be about passion alone? That's where most buyers get it wrong. Authorized dealers don't only sell Rolex. They sell other brands. They sell jewelry. They sell categories that don't move with the same velocity. Some inventory flies, some inventory sits. Some categories carry different margins. Some require relationship depth to move consistently. Now ask yourself this: if you were running that portfolio, and you had one of the most desirable watches in the world sitting in your safe, would you hand it out based purely on enthusiasm? Or would you use it strategically? That's the uncomfortable part. Rolex becomes incentive currency. Not a trophy, not a thank you. Incentive currency. And incentive currency is deployed intentionally. Here's the shift. Allocation is portfolio management. That's the model. Rolex is the strongest lever inside the store. And levers are used to move other things. That's why buying only Rolex doesn't automatically increase leverage. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. Because the dealer already knows Rolex will sell. The more important question becomes, what else are you reinforcing inside the portfolio? Are you strengthening the ecosystem, or are you extracting from it? That's the real competition. There's another layer most buyers never consider. Authorized dealers don't just think about today's transaction. They think about predictability. Who comes back consistently? Who only appears when a hot model drops? Who strengthens the relationship across time? Because volatility is risk, and predictable clients are safer to allocate to. Not emotionally safer, financially safer. So when two buyers want the same piece, the dealer isn't just comparing passion. They're comparing profile stability, who builds over time, and who only shows up when there's something to take. That's a different lens entirely. Let's be clear. This does not mean you must buy things you don't want. It does not mean there's one formula. Dealer structure varies. Some stores are heavily Rolex-focused. Some relationships were built years ago when demand looked different. Some sales associates have internal influence. But ignoring portfolio logic entirely is naive. Because if one client supports broader categories, and another client shows up only for hot Rolex models, those two profiles look different from a business perspective. And allocation decisions are business decisions, not emotional decisions, not fairness decisions, business decisions. That's why two buyers can look identical in passion, but completely different in leverage. And leverage influences positioning. Not always, but often enough that pretending it doesn't matter is self-deception. This is where most people get defensive. I only buy what I want. Good. You should. But don't confuse personal preference with system design. You can maintain taste, you can maintain standards, and still understand incentives. Because once you see Rolex as a lever instead of a prize, you stop taking silence personally. You stop assuming you're being judged. You stop interpreting allocation as moral validation. You start asking better questions. What does this dealer structure respond to? Where is leverage actually created? How does positioning compound over time? That's the strategic mindset shift. Allocation isn't emotional, it's structural. And once you understand that, you stop chasing approval. You stop optimizing for the wrong metric, and you start positioning with intent. Thanks for watching. If you want more insights on status, luxury, and the psychology behind it all, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. This is Status Driven. See you in the next one.